Jenna from Love the City, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell us, what exactly is Love the City?
So Love the City is a one-night, one-mission event, which is all about people loving on the city together. And this is our second year running, so we had our second event in March. And how it looked was we had over 500 people come together, which was really incredible, just to go out and love on people in the city. So everything from random acts of kindness, honouring civil servants in our city who often just are never recognised for what they do, like bus drivers and street cleaners, policemen. And then we also did surprise hamper deliveries to families in need, and also had ministry to the homeless community, including really cool hair transformation. So there was a lot that was happening on the night, but it was a really great event.
What's the inspiration for Love the City? Where did the idea come from?
So the idea kind of started with what it felt like a dream that was on God's heart for the city. And it just started as a little idea, and we started pulling it together, my husband, Tim and I, and then as we started working on it, it just started to grow into kind of what it is now with Love the City.
And is this something which involves like multiple churches across the city?
Yeah, so that's actually one of my favourite parts about Love the City is we had churches from some of the Pentecostal churches to Baptist churches, Anglican. There's a feeling to that when you have people from so many different walks of life and different churches, all with different experiences, all coming together united just for one thing, which is loving on people. And that's kind of something that we emphasise about Love the City, is that it's love with no agenda. So the idea is not to achieve any kind of result. It's all about loving on people in whatever way that looks.
I find it really interesting that it takes diverse forms, you say, whatever way it looks, and is it sort of up to the individuals involved in terms of what they go out and do in the city, or is there more direction given from you guys, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we actually had the majority of people do what we refer to as love bombs. And a love bomb is where a group of people shower gifts upon an unsuspecting stranger. And it's pretty cool because the stranger doesn't know what's going on, they just get showered with gifts. And in the end they get this card which says you've been love bombed. And it actually has this site on the back for them to work out what on earth was happening, and also write in their story if they want to. And so that was one of the main activities, and the reason why that works so well is because it's a really easy way for people who haven't had much experience really reaching out to people in the city, for them to step out into that. So we even had some parents bring along their kids, 8, 9-year-olds, and obviously sticking with the parents, staying safe, but yeah, it was something that actually worked for the whole family, as well as like most people who came out were young adults and young people. So depending on people's experience, people that had experience with the homeless community, they went out and did the hair transformations and delivered food and blankets and all that kind of thing. But most people ended up doing love bombs, and that was really the highlight of the night, was the impact that has on people.
It must be just even on the side of those doing the love bombs and those on the side of, I mean, the ones loving this city, you could say it must be a real buzz for them.
Yeah, it definitely, the feeling, and we meet at the Baptist Tabernacle, which is on Queen Street, and it's actually one of the first churches ever established in New Zealand, which I think that's quite cool. And so that's the meeting point, and we actually had Mosaic music perform at the beginning, and there was just such a buzz. People didn't come for a reason of like to hear a band or to hear a speaker. They actually were there just to go and love people. And so there's something, I think, in like the atmosphere when people have gathered for that reason, and then when they're going out and actually getting to see people end up in tears, and I mean, there are often hugs all around, and one story that hopefully I can share soon, sometimes the reaction seems cold, but we hear back later that it actually changed their life. So yeah, there is a real buzz.
So what sort of feedback did you get then from this night of loving the city?
Yeah, so we had a range of emails kind of filter in throughout the night. A lot of people are so impacted they just kind of get straight on their iPhones or their email and write in, which is really cool. And then throughout the coming weeks as well, we've had some responses come in, and so I've got a couple of them here, which it makes more sense to read them. This was from an international student. She said, "Hi, I don't know who you are, but I want to know. I recently received your gifts. I thought I'm alone in the city. Now I'm going to cry because I was wrong. I'm an overseas student. I'm from India, so that's why. Really, you guys are doing an awesome job. I don't have words for you guys. You're doing an awesome job." One guy was visiting his wife. He said, my wife and I are from Wellington, and he said that he was just on his way back from visiting my wife, who's just recovering in hospital from open heart surgery. And he was love bombed on Grafton Bridge, and he said, for this to happen to me at this difficult time for both of us was fantastic and emotional. Another girl ended her email with #faith-in-humanity restored,
wow.
which that one just made me smile. But one of my favourite responses was from a guy who he describes that he was sitting at the wharf, so he was down in the viaduct area in Auckland, and his reaction was the cold one that I mentioned, but I'll try and read what he said. So he said, "Hi there, good people. I'm from overseas. I was having a really hard time back there, and am still struggling hard here and now. The other day a friend passed away, my second friend in a month. I've got no job nor a place to stay tomorrow morning. So I was sitting on a bench near the wharf. I was like frozen. I didn't know what to do next. You know, life is hard, but there are some days that are really hard. That day was one of those days. As I sit there looking into nothing, there comes this young guy. He talks to me. I think I may have even been rude. I don't want no preaching. I don't want to buy nothing. Well, he smiled still. He hands something to me. I say, what's this for? He simply replies, still smiling, that's just a present, a chocolate, that's for you. I think I didn't even say thanks. I didn't know what to do. The place I come from, it's a harsh, miserable place, you know. I'm not used to receiving kindness from strangers. The thing is, the present wasn't a chocolate. It was hope and it was love. The tag said simply, you are loved. I remembered then that somebody loves me far away. It took me from the dark of that day and made me feel like I wasn't all lost. It was a week ago, and I still keep the tag and read it every day. You are loved. Thank you. You are heroes. May you harvest what you sow tenfold.
Wow, hearing that, it must make you feel like the whole thing or the organisation was worth it just for that guy.
Oh, that's exactly how we felt reading that. It was just, you know, if we'd done the whole event just for this guy to be impacted in that way, it's so worth it. That's what it's about.
And I guess, I mean, that's just one story of several that you've received out of this event, including, I guess, from people who are in some pretty difficult and some dark places sometimes, and you never know what those people are going through, right?
Totally. And that's the thing is sometimes it can seem like a small act of kindness is, like it doesn't mean that much. You know, it can seem like it's, what does this really contribute, or what impact is this really going to have, a small chocolate with a sticker that says you are loved. But the fact is that, like, by demonstrating kindness, we're actually demonstrating God's love. And people aren't used to receiving love with no agenda. They sometimes receive love and then, can you do this in return? But to receive something that is just, you know, hey, you are loved, it impacts people in a way that I think I'm still discovering through this more and more. And every email that I receive and person that I talk to afterwards, I'm just amazed at how something so small can have such a big impact. And I think on the people who are giving too. My husband Tim described how he was asking a group on the night what had happened, and one of the girls who'd love bombed someone couldn't talk because she was so emotional. She was just crying, and for her it was just so moving to be involved in something like that.
You say that, you know, you're not going to understand the the significance or the impact something like a bar of chocolate can seem to have, and it doesn't make sense in a way, I guess, but in a way it does, because that's how the kingdom of God works, doesn't it? That it's what we may think is the significant thing or not. I mean, that seems to be the way that God works. And as I hear you talk about this and the people who've been involved in Love This City and some of the stories you've heard as a result of that night, it seems so obvious that God is at work here, that it's about something bigger than you or any of the people involved, but actually there is something bigger here.
Yeah, and I love that everyone can be involved. It doesn't matter what experience they've had or if they're terrified of, going out and praying for someone on the street. That stuff is great, and some people did have the opportunity to do that. But the fact is that we can all hand someone a chocolate, or we can smile at them, or offer to carry their groceries, or this is so much more than just an event. It's something that we hope that it will inspire people to do this more and more in their own worlds and in their own communities and in their own time.
So Love This City has been an Auckland event. Do you see it as potentially grown into other areas?
Yeah, it's something that a few people have asked. We have had a few requests from a few other cities in New Zealand and actually a couple of other countries, which is quite exciting. But it is something that we're hoping to take slowly and just pretty much start where we feel like we're meant to. So for now, for the current moment, the main event is just in Auckland. But what we are launching later this year is what we're calling local. And what it is it's essentially doing Love This City, but in your own local community and area. So it's something that people from cities and outside of Auckland can be involved in. And what we're actually going to do to make that happen is people are going to be able to order through the site the cards and the stickers so that they can actually do that. And then whether it's like a group of friends or people's church communities or whatever it is, they can actually organise their own thing within that week and go out and love on people in their area.
Hey, where can people find out more about Love This City?
So the best way would be our website, which is lovethiscity.co.nz. And then we also have a Facebook page, so that has all the information. That's facebook.com/lovethiscityakl. And if anyone wants information about involving their church, or there are a range of other ways that people can support. We've had some companies who, we had Baker's Delight and a few other companies support us with bread and other food products on the night, and would love more of that. So any companies that would love to be involved can email me at jenna@lovethiscity.co.nz.
Fantastic. Well, Jenna, thank you, I guess, for your leadership with this one. It sounds like it's just already had an incredible impact on people. So thank you for that, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.